Pam Bondi just blew this thing open. $127 million, 14 contracts, 3 shell companies. According to court documents filed Thursday, she brought receipts. I've been going through this since yesterday. 4 hours, 2 readings. The transcript alone is 214 pages. Here's what the headlines aren't telling you. Bondi, Trump's former attorney general pick, his defender, his loyalist, she walked into that courtroom Thursday morning, and by 4 p.m., she'd handed prosecutors everything. Wire transfers, signed agreements, time-stamped communications. This isn't a leak. This isn't speculation. This is sworn testimony on record under oath. You saw the headlines. You saw Bondi testifies. Here's what actually happened in that room. Quick context. Pam Bondi, former Florida Attorney General. Trump nominated her for U.S. Attorney General in late 2024, confirmed early 2025. For months, she was the shield. Every investigation, every subpoena, Bondi was the firewall. The issue? The Southern District of New York started pulling threads. Real estate deals, foreign payments, LLCs that didn't make sense. And somewhere between January and last month, Bondi flipped. Timeline, fast version. Weeks ago, federal investigators issued subpoenas to 3 holding companies registered in Delaware. Shortly after, Bondi's personal attorney met with prosecutors. Twice. Then, Thursday, Courtroom 14B, Bondi took the stand. Not as a defendant, as a cooperating witness. Her own immunity deal signed Monday. That's the setup. What makes this different from every other Trump legal story? Bondi was inside. She wasn't watching from the outside. She wasn't speculating. She was in the meetings. She saw the documents. She heard the conversations. And according to the transcript, she remembers everything. Now the documents, okay, the evidence. First document, filed Friday. I pulled page 34. It says, quoting here, the witness confirmed direct knowledge of 3 separate agreements executed between January 2025 and August 2025, each involving payments routed through intermediary entities. That's not my take, that's the filing. What it means? Bondi watched money move. She knows where it went. But here's what got me. Page 89, different section, paragraph 47. Bondi testified that she personally reviewed wire transfer confirmations totaling $18.2 million, sent to a Nevada holding company that had no employees, no office, no apparent business purpose. I went through Nevada corporate records. That company registered 6 days before the first payment, dissolved 11 days after the last one. Put those together? Yeah, this wasn't sloppy. This was architected. And I gotta be honest, first read, thought I misread it. Page 112, Exhibit F. Bondi provided prosecutors with 47 emails between herself and 3 members of Trump's inner circle, all from a 2-week period last spring. Subject lines included, direct quote from the transcript, re-Cyprus arrangement and offshore structure, urgent. Read that again. The former Attorney General of the United States just handed over emails about offshore structures sent while she was in office. I went through this twice. Pattern's clear. Payments routed through Delaware LLCs with minimal paper trails. Contracts signed by proxies, not principals. Communication shifted to encrypted platforms when certain topics came up. All documented, all time-stamped, all corroborated by banking records prosecutors already had. Now, what nobody's covering. Page 147, buried in the appendix. Bondi testified about a meeting in Mar-a-Lago, February 2025. 8 people in the room. She said, and I'm reading directly, I was instructed not to document the conversation. I was told this explicitly. Then she documented it anyway. Personal notes, kept at her residence, turned over to prosecutors last month. Those notes reference a $340 million development deal involving a foreign sovereign wealth fund. The deal was structured to avoid CFIUS review. If you don't know what CFIUS is, Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, it reviews deals that could impact national security. This deal was specifically structured to stay under their radar. BONDI'S notes include the phrase, "They know the threshold, stay under." Fallout from this testimony, 3 additional subpoenas issued Friday afternoon. 2 former White House staffers, 1 current member of Trump's legal team. The Nevada LLC is now under federal investigation, and according to court records, prosecutors have requested banking records from 4 international institutions, including one in the Cayman Islands, within 72 hours of BONDI'S testimony. That fast. That's just the first document. I'm not done. If this breakdown's useful, subscribe. I'm covering this daily now. The filings are coming faster than the headlines can keep up. I'll keep translating. Okay, but look, gotta be fair here. The other side has a point. Few points, actually. Trump's legal team says this is a political persecution dressed up as prosecution. And honestly, some of their argument holds up. Their position, first, Bondi has immunity. She's not a neutral witness. She's someone who cut a deal to save herself. That changes her incentive structure. Everything she says benefits her legally. Second, none of these deals have been proven illegal yet. Complicated? Yes. Offshore? Yes. But complicated isn't criminal, and offshore isn't automatically fraud. Trump's lead attorney, who's been with him since 2019, put it this way Thursday night. This is a disgruntled former employee seeking leniency by telling prosecutors what they want to hear. Don't agree with all of it, but that's not nothing. What they've got, BONDI'S immunity deal, means she has every reason to deliver. Prosecutors don't give immunity for nothing. She had to bring value. That creates pressure to embellish. The LLCs in question, Delaware, Nevada, are legal structures used by thousands of legitimate businesses. Having an LLC isn't evidence of wrongdoing. Even legal analysts who aren't Trump supporters admit this. Former federal judge, now at Georgetown Law, said Friday, the complexity of these transactions doesn't prove intent. You need more than structure. Look, I'm not here to tell you who's right. The prosecution interpretation? BONDI'S testimony is devastating. It shows awareness. It shows design. It shows intent to obscure. The defense interpretation? BONDI'S testimony is bought. It shows a witness who needed to deliver something, anything, to stay out of prison herself. Both can be true. That's what makes this complicated. Here's what I keep coming back to. Bondi didn't just talk. She brought documents. Physical documents, emails, notes, wire transfer confirmations. You can question her motive. You can question her credibility, but you can't question the paper. The emails exist. The transfers exist. The timing exists. If this were just her word, defense has a point. Reasonable doubt everywhere. But it's not just her word. Republican strategists are already framing this as betrayal. Bondi turned on the president who gave her everything. That's the narrative forming on conservative media. And there's something to that too. Loyalty matters in politics. Bondi was a true believer, or presented as one. Her flip feels personal to people who trusted her. One former Trump campaign official posted Friday night, she was family. This is unforgivable. That's real sentiment. Don't dismiss it. What I can tell you, what the documents show. And they show a paper trail that prosecutors now have complete access to, handed over by someone who was in the room. Whether that's justice or vengeance depends on where you sit. But the evidence itself, that's what we focus on. This didn't come out of nowhere. Backstory, quick. A year ago, first signs of fracture. Bondi and Trump's inner circle disagreed on how to handle SDNY subpoenas. She wanted compliance, they wanted delay. Months later, Bondi was quietly sidelined from key meetings. Still had the title, lost the access. Around the holidays last year, her name surfaced in a parallel investigation, not as a target, but close enough. Someone even said on record to Politico, she saw the walls closing and made a choice. What happened? Self-preservation. Pattern in this administration, consistent across 2 terms. Loyalty rewarded until it becomes inconvenient. Legal exposure handled individually, not collectively. When pressure mounts, everyone's on their own. Bondi watched Michael Cohen. She watched Rudy Giuliani. She watched what happens when you stay loyal past the point of legal safety. She made a different choice. Every insider who's flipped before, same calculation, same result. The difference this time, Bondi had access others didn't. Cabinet-level access, classified briefing access, access to conversations that never should have happened in front of a potential witness. And now, prosecutors have all of it. People are asking, why would she keep notes? Why would she save emails? Maybe insurance, maybe instinct, maybe she always knew this day might come. Either way, Thursday happened. Until Thursday, this was speculation. Now it's testimony. Following the trail? Hit like. Seriously, the algorithm decides what people see. If this kind of breakdown matters to you, that like button tells YouTube to show it to others. Takes a second, helps a lot. Thursday, 2:47 p.m. Eastern, here's what happened. Bondi, under direct examination, was asked about a specific meeting. Oval Office, February 14th, 2025. She paused, looked at her attorney, then answered. I was present when the president discussed structuring the Doha Agreement to avoid congressional notification requirements. Room went silent. What followed? Trump's defense attorney immediately requested a sidebar. Prosecutors asked for a 15-minute recess. 3 reporters left the courtroom to file. 23 minutes, that fast. When testimony resumed, Bondi walked through it piece by piece. The agreement involved a $340 million development project in Qatar, American partners, foreign financing, and according to Bondi, a specific instruction to structure it below reporting thresholds. Now, what everyone missed. While media focused on the dollar amount, something else happened. Bondi named names. Not Trump alone. 8 people. Current and former officials, 1 sitting member of Congress. The transcript was partially sealed within an hour, but not before reporters got the basics. Then Friday morning, one of those names lawyered up publicly, hired a white-collar defense firm out of D.C., issued a statement denying any wrongdoing. Nobody asked him to comment, he volunteered it. That's telling. The congressman's office? No comment. Referred all questions to legal counsel. Also telling. Judge's response? Scheduled an emergency status hearing for Tuesday. Accelerated the timeline. Wasn't reactive, calculated. You can see it in the docket entries. Prosecutors requested expedited discovery Friday afternoon, granted within hours. Something in that testimony spooked them into moving faster. This is where it gets interesting. The sealed portion of Thursday's transcript, we don't know what's in it, but we know it was sealed at the prosecution's request. They're protecting something, or someone, or setting something up. Tuesday, we find out more. Drop your prediction below. Seriously, what do you think's in the sealed portion? Who else gets named? I'll come back to this comment section after Tuesday's hearing. See who called it. Keep watching. What are experts saying? Former Assistant U.S. Attorney, 17 years at SDNY. When a cabinet-level official flips and brings contemporaneous documentation, that's not a wobble, that's an earthquake. Plain English, this doesn't happen often. When it does, cases accelerate. Another one, criminal defense attorney, 22 years federal practice. The immunity deal tells you everything. Prosecutors don't grant immunity unless what they're getting is worth more than what they're giving up. Key there, they gave her a pass. That means she brought something bigger than her own potential charges. Here's what's interesting. Even former Trump legal advisors admit the situation is serious. One former White House counsel attorney spoke to CNN Friday, said the documentation is the problem. You can attack a witness. You can't attack a wire transfer confirmation. When both sides agree, pay attention. Consensus forming among legal analysts. BONDI'S testimony alone isn't enough to indict, but it opens doors. The documentation she provided is independently verifiable. That's the threat. The sealed portion suggests more is coming. Prosecutors don't seal for nothing. Constitutional law professor at NYU wrote about this last night. We're watching a real-time stress test of whether anyone is truly above the law. The answer isn't clear yet. Former DOJ official under Obama, now at Brookings. This has elements we haven't seen combined before. A cooperating cabinet member, active concealment allegations, foreign money, congressional involvement. Each alone is serious. Together? She didn't finish the thought. Didn't have to. That's where professionals land. The legal machinery is moving. The question isn't whether there's exposure. The question is scope. If this breakdown helps you understand what's actually happening, hit like. I'm not doing hot takes. I'm reading documents. That like tells YouTube this content matters. Appreciate it. Why should you care? Real talk, how this affects actual people. Money. If you have any investment in U.S. markets, pay attention. Political instability affects portfolios. It's not partisan, it's math. Friday, defense contractor stocks dipped 2.3% after the Qatar connection surfaced. Investors don't like uncertainty around foreign deals. Your 401k probably has exposure to companies now scrambling to review their own compliance. Not advice, just what the market's already pricing in. Precedent. This sets a precedent. If a sitting attorney general can be compelled to testify against a former president with documentation, the rules around executive privilege just got rewritten. Next time you hear executive privilege in a headline, this case is the reference point. Quick example. Imagine you work for a company. Your CEO tells you not to document a meeting. You do anyway. Years later, you hand those notes to investigators. That's what just happened at the highest level of government. Every future administration will think about this. Every future official will make calculations based on this. Who's affected? Right now, 23 people referenced in the unsealed portions of BONDI'S testimony. 8 were named directly, 15 are referenced by title or description. Prosecutors know who they are. Public doesn't. Yet. Federal employees in related agencies are already receiving legal hold notices. Preserve all documents. Don't delete anything. That hits Monday. What nobody wants to say, uncomfortable part. If these deals are what prosecutors suggest, structured to avoid oversight, routed through shells, involving foreign money, then decisions made during Trump's second term were influenced by financial arrangements we didn't know about. Policy decisions, appointments, regulatory choices. If you voted in 2024, you're part of this. Not your fault, but you're affected. If you pay taxes, you're part of this. Government resources, your resources, were allocated based on priorities we're now questioning. Not trying to scare you. That's what the documents suggest. Practical, what informed people are doing. Watching their investment allocation in politically sensitive sectors. Following the Tuesday hearing for names and scope. Asking their financial advisors, what's my exposure to companies connected to this? Knowledge helps. This story isn't abstract. Money moved. Decisions were made. Consequences are coming. Whether those consequences are legal, political, financial, or all three, depends on what's in those sealed documents. Bigger picture. Here's the thing nobody's saying out loud. Bondi wasn't a fringe figure. She was inner circle, true believer, defender in chief. If she flipped, who else is thinking about it? That calculation is happening right now in a lot of DC offices, a lot of legal consultations, a lot of quiet conversations. The first domino fell Thursday. We're waiting to see if others follow. How'd Trump respond? Made it worse, honestly. Thursday night, Truth Social, 11 posts in 3 hours, called Bondi mentally unstable, desperate, a disgrace to Florida. Quote from the first post, "She was never smart enough to understand what she saw. Confused woman." Reaction? 4.7 million views in 12 hours. Bondi's attorney requested additional security measures Friday morning. Republican leadership response? Scattered. Some defended Trump immediately. This is what the deep state does. Others went quiet. Notably quiet. One senior Senate Republican, unnamed but described as close to leadership, told Axios Friday, "We need to see what's in the sealed documents before anyone should be making declarations." That's not a defense. That's distance. Trump's legal team came back with a formal statement Saturday morning. Ms. Bondi's testimony is the product of prosecutorial coercion and personal desperation. We will address every allegation through proper legal channels. Then Saturday afternoon, Trump's attorneys filed a motion to exclude portions of Bondi's testimony, claimed attorney-client privilege on several conversations. Prosecutors already responded. Said Bondi wasn't acting as Trump's attorney during those conversations. She was a witness to them. That fight plays out Tuesday. Not cooling down, heating up. The pattern, every response from Trump's side generates another response from prosecutors. Every social media post gets cited in filings as evidence of intent to intimidate. They're not helping themselves. What's still unclear, one, what's in the sealed transcript? Bondi testified for 4 hours. Only 90 minutes are public. The rest is under seal, pending investigation. That's a lot of hidden testimony. 2, who's the sitting congressman? Bondi named someone. Current member of Congress. We don't know who. But their office knows, and they're not talking. 3, the foreign element. Qatar, Cayman Islands, Cyprus, 3 jurisdictions referenced. We don't know the full scope of foreign involvement yet. Coming, Judge Mercer has a status conference scheduled Tuesday, March 10. Both parties will address the privilege dispute. Prosecutors have indicated they may request additional indictments as early as this month. The congressman's attorney is reportedly negotiating. With whom and about what? Unclear. Date to watch, Tuesday, March 10. If the privilege motion fails, and most legal analysts think it will, more of Bondi's testimony becomes public. If it succeeds, Trump buys time, but not much. Secondary date, Thursday, March 12. Grand jury scheduled to reconvene. New evidence presentation expected. Should know more by midweek. This is the holding pattern. Uncomfortable, uncertain, moving faster than anyone expected. Subscribe. I'll cover Tuesday's hearing live. When the sealed portions come out, if they come out, I'll break them down same day. Notifications on. This is moving where we are right now. Saturday, March 7, 2026. Bondi has completed her initial testimony, may be recalled. Partial transcript is public, key portions sealed. 8 individuals named, status unclear for most, 1 congressman identified, name still under seal. Trump's attorneys filed privilege motion this morning. Prosecutors have requested expedited discovery from 4 foreign financial institutions. Scheduled Tuesday, March 10, status conference, privilege arguments. Thursday, March 12, grand jury reconvenes. March 17, tentative, next witness testimony, identity not disclosed. Not public yet, the sealed 2.5 hours of Bondi's testimony, contents unknown outside the courtroom. Any cooperation agreements with other witnesses? Prosecutors haven't disclosed. Full scope of the Cayman Islands banking records request. Clocks running. Every day between now and Tuesday, both sides are preparing. Legal briefs, media strategy, witness coordination. What happens Tuesday shapes what happens the rest of the month. If privilege holds, slower pace, more legal fighting, potentially months more. If privilege fails, acceleration. More names, more testimony, possible indictments before April. We're in the gap, waiting. That's where we are. Pam Bondi, cooperating witness, immunity secured, testimony on record. Donald Trump, defending, attacking, legally exposed in ways that didn't exist a week ago. Surface read, former ally turns, brings receipts. But Bondi didn't flip randomly. Something forced her hand, her own legal exposure, the pressure from prosecutors, maybe something we still don't know. And the sealed testimony matters. What's in there that wasn't made public? Who else is named? What deals are described? I'll be watching Tuesday's hearing closely. The privilege fight tells us a lot about what both sides think is coming. Story's not over. Still developing fast. What I can promise, when documents drop, I'll read them. When transcripts release, I'll translate them. When experts weigh in, I'll separate the signal from the noise. This isn't about hot takes. It's about understanding what's actually happening. Subscribe for the full picture, not just headlines. The legal machinery is in motion. Bondi's testimony opened a door. What walks through it next, we'll find out Tuesday. I'll be here.